So how have retail investors been navigating all this? Let's bring in eToro US CEO Lule Demmissie. Lule, with the market marching higher for most of the past 10 years, it paid to be tactical, buy the dip, diamond hands. But how strategic have investors been during this September-October correction?
Good afternoon and good to be with you all. They have been, frankly, a lot of the tone that you've also expressed in the markets as you guys report on it, which is a bit of caution. So you saw some leaning into things like ETF, the Bill ETF, and trying to ensure that they locked in some of that yield. But again, seeing interest in both technology, which is where a lot of our investors have a bias towards technology, be it AI or other types of technology. And then you see healthcare and energy and sort of edge each other out in terms of what their options are. What we do see is that the majority of folks are still long-term investors. So there are 55% of them say, I'm still holding, I'm still looking for the long term. But there are folks that are keeping their powder dry, about 30% keeping their powder dry and seeing if there's further opportunity. But what I think is more important is that they're not getting spooked. And the way my benchmark for not getting spooked is 08.
Okay. So in technology in particular, how much are they buying what might be perceived as value versus buying trends like AI?
It's a bit of both, right? So they hold for long term. So whether it's a little rich or not, you see a holding pattern. Where they see dips, they come in. So a good example might be Tesla's gotten beaten up a little bit. But as I said, there's also this sort of broader thinking of like sectors like healthcare that they're leaning into.
Lule, I'm just looking at the eToro website. Investors can invest in crypto, they can invest in stocks, they can invest in ETFs. Have you found that with yields as high as they are, that some of your customers are maybe not as active on the platform because fixed income is competing more than it has in the past?
So yes and no. So we do also have options, which is, as you know, options has seen further growth even post-pandemic. What we do see is investors coming in when there's an opportunity to come in and being a little bit more cautious when the market feels a little jittery. But ultimately, you know, for us, yes, is the pandemic season out sort of not in peak anymore? Absolutely. But if you look at households in the U.S., what's happening is individuals are not coming out the way they did in 08. If in 08, about 10% dip in percentage of households in the U.S. in terms of investing. You do not see that post-pandemic right now. In fact, the resistance level has stayed at around 60+% of households still investing, and we're seeing the same thing.
Okay. So I realize tech is a big area of interest right now and investor flows. What are some of the other sectors where you're seeing a lot of activity?
So again, healthcare is one, real estate is another. What we do see now, because we have ETFs, and I would be remiss to not say we have a wonderful partnership now with iShares BlackRock, in which we want to highlight the importance of ETFs in a portfolio, be it a long-term holding, a sector play, or an instrument for speculation. And so we do see folks leaning into sectors, both in terms of specific holdings, like Eli Lilly is an example, as well as sector play through ETFs.